Hi there, Gemini. Welcome to a manifestation reading for the period of February through April 21st when all the personal planets are direct. It's Rena here. And let me just say something about this reading. Sometimes I like to change things up a little bit because doing the same old, it's a little bit different. I'm going to pick an additional card. It was supposed to only be 5. Okay, I've been getting this card lately. So the reason that I decided what this is all about is this is a period of time when all the personal planets are direct. So typically, because we have had, for instance, Mars has been in your sign for 6 months thus far. And, next month will be 7 months and it will finally leave the sign of Gemini. So, Gemini people in particular may be feeling this sense of maybe even depletion sometimes when Mars has been in your 12th house. Now that Mars is gaining steam in the month of February, and when I'm recording this, and when it goes out of its shadow in mid-March and then finally into Cancer, like the last week of the month or so, I think that you will start to really feel like you are moving forward. You might have felt like you're kind of been stuck. And for those people who have felt like that, this period of time, if there's been something that you've been wanting to launch or just see your life progressing just by taking a little step forward, you may find that it has more momentum. So that's all, because sometimes, during maybe you don't want to launch anything by April 21st, but it might just be something small that gathers even more ripples than it normally would. So that's kind of where my mind is at. And manifestation can be anything. It can be something material that you have been wanting. It could be a dream job, or if you want to start your own business, or it could even be a relationship. So sometimes when, like, for instance, this particular spread here that I've been getting, there's like some cards that are combative, either from other people or from yourself and your own conditioning. So it could be that limitations have to be lifted. The card that in the middle that is really about what it is that you're looking to manifest is the King of Cups. Now, this is a card that is connected to, like if I was going to assign a character, it would be an older male, or we could say a mature male. Maybe it's just emotionally mature, but it's emphasizing the emotions because this is cups. And it could be the water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or that person might have like the moon and the rising sign in water, and they're just very watery, something like that. And it really speaks to somebody who is very sensitive. This can also be father energy, fatherly energy, whether it's your own father, like a stepfather, a father-in-law, or somebody that you really looked to like gain comfort from. But it can also be a boss. It can be any male authority figure that's also very sensitive. It can even be a pastor or a priest or some religious figure or spiritual teacher. And when I say about manifestation and connection to this individual, it's really about your relationship with this person, since we're talking about cups. And in some cases, if this is somebody that you have an interest in romantically, then I would say that you would have to adjust your behavior, Gemini, because the average Gemini person, even if you have personal planets in Cancer, for instance, or your moon sign and your rising sign can actually be any sign. So if you have water in those and you are naturally um, psychic or sensitive in certain ways, the Gemini energy may be, kind of prevalent, and you may shy away from that. I see here, like, why, this might be a counselor actually, because maybe you're looking to change your mentality, because what we have here as like kind of a catalyst for you wanting to manifest this is represented by the Eight of Swords. And this is a card about how you maybe have been programmed to feel trapped in your life, to feel like perhaps you can't do something. And this can be primarily like a psychological thing. The swords represent air signs, and maybe this is also like an air sign individual who you're in a relationship with, but you feel that they are limiting your ability to live your best life. So, either a fellow Gemini, an Aquarius, or a Libra individual. And, it's important to note that even though, for instance, like fellow air signs like Libra and Aquarius form trines to your sun, it doesn't mean that every single person of that element is going to be good for you. And this is sometimes where, astrology gets a little bit simplistic, where they try to claim that everybody, because it's a friendly angle, that it's going to be like that. And that simply is untrue. Some people are just not good for another person. They can be downright toxic. So, by all means, if you are having a relationship with somebody and you feel like oppressed in that situation, you might not feel like you can do anything about it. You might feel that you are trapped for some reason, and it's really coming from your own uh, conditioned beliefs. It's not necessarily true in a universal sort of way. So you have to really get that straight within yourself. And the first step that you can, and so what I was trying to say is you might seek counseling in order to kind of transcend those or bust those beliefs. And it could even be like a spiritual teacher. The first step to take is represented by the Queen of Swords. And that means that you have to make a choice to not allow your feelings to have precedence, to put head over heart, which means that if there's some situation that feels like it's calling on you to make a decision, that you do so coming from a place where your emotions are not kind of dominant. And sometimes, it's kind of funny because I would think that, the average Gemini person could be like that. But truth be told, there are some Gemini people that are quite emotional because of influences from inner planets. Maybe the house placement of your sun, moon, whatever, also contribute to that. The chart is like different layers of an onion, and there can be different things, different influences. Because I know that even within myself, I have no water planets in any of my personal planets, but I am emotional in a certain way, and that's probably the reason, because there are other things going on. So you might be the same way, and what that can mean is that when you're in an emotional situation, your first instinct is just to kind of like go haywire, where you just can't think straight. You're just like, oh my God, what do I do? And really, that's the time to be as calm as you can and not to allow yourself to to spin into that kind of chaotic situation. What's coming in is represented by the Seven of Wands. So, whatever the situation is, and this can also be in the workplace, just came into my mind is bullying. So if some of you are receiving some kind of bullying situation, whether it's in your workplace or and by the way, workplace, it could also mean a boss or other authority figure, or coworkers, because this Five of Swords I always associate with like coworkers who are really nasty pieces of work. But whatever is going on in that situation, standing your ground, not allowing anybody to intimidate you. If you're in a relationship that you consider abusive, it doesn't have to be physically, it can be emotionally abusive, and you might feel like you don't know how to navigate things. Then it's important to be able to, not feel intimidated and to be able to affirm your truth. I am that I am, which means that you don't have to defend yourself to anyone. I just said that you standing your ground, but I don't mean that you need to make a case for yourself that you're really okay, that that you have to play it like that. You're more than okay. The thing is that sometimes other people want to make you out to not be okay, and that is their modus operandi. You don't have to fall into that trap, however. You have the ability, Gemini, to stand firm, knowing that you're, I was going to say a child of God, but even more so, you have purpose, you have strength, and you don't have to uh, curry anybody's favor. And if somebody is trying to, try to make you feel not okay, that's probably a good sign that they don't feel okay. And this was supposed to be the outcome card, but because there is the nature of this card, I automatically picked another card. And this is the Five of Swords. Now, it's very interesting because the number 5 is associated with the planet Mercury, which is your ruler. And you are swords. So I wouldn't be surprised if this card is connected to Gemini. One of the shadow aspects of Gemini is being two-faced. And this is kind of what this card represents. This card could be backbiting, some kind of gossip or like slander, even in other words, something that isn't true, but just this kind of behind the scenes kind of nastiness that you may find out that you were subjected to. And it's very interesting because at this full moon that we just had in February in Leo, this actually fell in your third house, which is the house that you rule. And it can be news. It can be, breaking news. So you may have had something, Gemini, where someone was, you found out something, because full moons can bring out secrets. And so the third house can be, secret central. Not that it's a house of secrets, but when the full moon is there, information that was hidden becomes known. And this is also a card of empty victory. So it's important whenever there is some kind of injustice that is done against somebody, that they maintain the higher ground, that they stay up there, that they do not um, roll in the dirt with other people that are trying to do something against them. Because, you can always look at life as a series of spiritual tests to see if you are detached enough to not be vengeful, um, to not get caught up in other people's lower vibrations and things like that. Um, and yet not spiritually bypass, not act like something is okay when it's not. It's a very interesting tightrope to walk for sure. But that's to me the two main things that I take from that card. So I picked an additional card, and I got the strength card. Now this also, that's so funny because that third house is Leo, and this card is connected to Leo. So really, since Leo represents your third house, the house that you rule, which is about the mind, which we could say at the higher level is consciousness, it really is about, what makes a person strong in their mind. And it's really equanimity. When a person is not, even when they hear upsetting news, even when they are dealing with secret enemies or even enemies that are in their face, or any kind of trials or tribulations, that they are able to keep on an even keel. And again, not talking about psychological or spiritual bypassing where you just toxic positivity, although I don't really like the term toxic positivity because I think that being positive is always healing and good and not toxic. It really isn't, it's like being fake about it when people are acting positive, but they're really not. But really being able to endure, because there's like an enduring spirit that we have, or that we have to have. It's what resilience is all about, emotional resilience, meaning that you bounce back from things that are very upsetting and disappointing. You may have been disappointed, Gemini, by someone or some people that you thought were better than that. And it could even be family, to be honest with you. And the thing, maybe this is like some kind of like an inheritance issue or something like that, where other people are being very sketchy, dishonest, greedy, and you have to take the high road. I said higher ground, I meant high road. And that comes from an inner knowing, that comes from a confidence that the strength card represents. And also what came into my mind right now was this too shall pass. So take comfort in knowing that if you feel like you have been suffering recently, this too shall pass. That's what I have for you, Gemini. I hope that this has been helpful. If you would like a private reading with me, I'm primarily an astrologer, and I have some package deals that provide extended readings, combination readings with chart analysis, plus the transits that are occurring for a special price, and I have standalone readings. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at rainamoonastrology.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.